My husband's childhood sweetheart is a haggling queen. She'll try to negotiate a discount on anything. She slashed my $1 million prenuptial agreement down to $1, calling it a stand against outdated traditions. She told me to use a discount app to get my wedding dress for free, claiming free stuff is always the best. She even turned our booked wedding venue into a funeral parlor setup and shamelessly called it minimalist. I was furious and confronted her, but my husband and Margaret all took her side.
Ava is the kind of woman who knows how to run a household.
In my past life, on the wedding day, as soon as I got into the free wedding car that Ava had huggled for, I was kidnapped. The kidnappers demanded a $5 million ransom, but Ava talked them down to $50,000. The furious traffickers sold me off to a remote mountain area. Margaret said I just didn't have good fortune, then immediately amped for her son to marry Ava. When I opened my eyes again, I was reborn back to the time before my winning. A sweet teen took Margaret's arm and fought her into that praise-so wedding car. It was time someone else got a taste of that good fortune. The prenup is just a formality. A token amount is fine. Asking for too many terms is basically selling your daughter, isn't it? I sat across from her, eyes dowered, looking at my familiar home, my mind drifting. I had actually been reborn. Looking at Ava's smiling face, hatred flickered deep in my eyes. Ava was my boyfriend Liam's childhood friend, and she loved to hassle over everything. She'd deliberately bruise fruit at the market, claim it was damaged, and force the vendor to give her half off. She'd accuse a rideshare driver of harassment to get a full refund from the platform. The first time I went to Liam's house, I brought over $10,000 worth of high-end skincare, hoping to make a good impression on my future mother-in-law. Oh wow, looks like someone got ripped off. These things are all flash and no substance. Cost price is maybe a few dunny dollars. If I were buying, 100 would be my max.
You really know how to run a household, sweetheart?
Don't mind her, Ava just speaks her mind.
But come to think of it, if Ava were my daughter-in-law, she'd never waste a penny of the family's money.
That's just how Ava is.
Don't be mad.
Before I could think further, Sister Chloe, you know Liam's dad passed away young. His mother raised him all by herself. It wasn't easy. $1 million in precup terms, that would kill Auntie. We're modern, independent women. How can we fixate on an old lady's retirement fund?
Eva wasn't stunningly beautiful, but she had a certain approachability, especially her eyes. When she looked at you, they carried this sincere, I'm only thinking of you expression that was deeply deceptive. That's why she always succeeded in haggling.
Ava's right, Chloe. We truly love each other. Why get hung up on formalities? Ava's just thinking about our future together.
In my past life, I bought that nonsense, went against my parents' wishes, and insisted on marrying Liam. My parents had prepared $1 million dowry for me, so the prenup should have been comparable. But to protect his fragile ego, I offered to make the prenup just a symbolic gesture. And what happened? Ava jumped right in and slashed it to $1. She ground my family's dignity into the dirt. Just then, David was about to object, just like in my past life. I cut him off first. Ava is absolutely right. I really don't think the prenup should be too strict. Since you agree, why don't we lower it to $1? A $1 prenup is fine.
Oh, Chloe is such a good girl, already thinking of our family before even marrying into it.
I still remembered how that old hag called me a worthless expense after I was kidnapped in my past life. Don't get too excited. The prenup is settled, but we still need to talk about other expenses. Why does a wedding cost so much? Oh, since Ava brought it up, I was just about to mention this too. Renting a wedding dress costs thousands a day. What a ripoff. Now you can use a discount app and get it for free. Let's skip the wedding photos too. For just $10 online, we can find someone to Photoshop our faces onto celebrity wedding photos. You can't even tell the difference. And the venue? Why book a hotel? I heard the old man across the street just passed away. His funeral setup is still there untouched. Let's go ask and borrow it for a day. Swap out the white drapes and white flowers for red ones? That's a ready-made minimalist wedding venue. Think of the savings. See? I told you Sister Chloe is the most reasonable person. Lee, you're lucky to marry a wife like her.
Chloe, you're so wonderful. You really think of everything for me. Then we use your dowering a bite of out. Life will be thriving.
When did I ever say I had a dowry?
You mean you don't have a dowry?
Originally, I had told Liam that my parents had prepared a car and a house as my dowry. But now, without contributing a penny themselves, they were counting on my dowry.
What do you mean by that? Didn't you say your family would provide a car and a house as your dowry?
Sister Chloe, that's not right. How can you go back on a promised dowry?
Ava, I'm just learning from you. If the prenup terms can be negotiated down, why not the dowry? And besides, I'm just thinking about our future together. Lee and me, we should save wherever we can. Think about it. Why buy a house? Can't we rent? We can move anytime depending on where we work. How convenient.
And a car? The morning and evening traffic is a nightmare. Buying one would be a waste. We'd still have to pay for parking, gas, insurance. Such a bad deal. We'll just take public transit. Green, eco-friendly, and will be contributing to the city's development.
The three of them were left speechless, their faces cycling through shades of red and white. They made excuses about having things to do and left.
Did you see that? She's actually trying to outmaneuver us.
Don't worry, Auntie. Just play along and get her to marry you. Once she's through your door, her family's money will all be yours anyway. Then we'll say she spends too raggedly and doesn't know how to run a household. Take full control of her money, and she'll have to live according to our whims. Listening to their shameless scheming, I remembered the images from just before my death in my past life. The dark, damp mountain shack, the disgusting stench of the old bachelor who bought me, the endless beatings and humiliation. And it all started with Ava. If not for the cheap wedding car she found, I would never have suffered like that. On the wedding day, I got into that car full of anticipation, and then I was kidnapped. They demanded a $5 million ransom. My family was well off. $5 million wasn't a small sum, but my parents would hate anything to save me. But when the kidnappers called Liam, Ava started haggling straight million to 50,000. Liam's mother stood by silently, actually waiting for Ava to get me back for 50,000. The kidnappers were absolutely furious, so they promptly sold me to human traffickers who sent me deep into the mountains. I snapped back to the present, my eyes burning with hatred. You all think Ava is so good at haggling, such a great homemaker? This time around, I'll let you taste for yourselves what it's like to be haggled down to the bone by the queen of discounts. Liam came to me soon after and agreed. No prenup, no dowry from either side. Just two people marrying for love with nothing but each other. And Ava, just like in the past life, eagerly volunteered to arrange the wedding cars.
Chloe, I still feel like that family is treating you unfairly. It's not too late to back out.
In my past life, after my accident, my parents' hair turned white overnight. They spent everything looking for me and lived out the rest of their days in despair. Linda, don't worry. Your daughter has grown up. She knows how to protect herself. Trust me. On the wedding day, I got up at 4 a.m. and stood by the window looking down. Downstairs, the wedding procession had already lined up. A man stood beside the lead car, his eyes shifty as he scanned the area. I took a deep breath, pushed down my emotions, threw on a simple red dress with no makeup, and went downstairs.
Don't be upset. If you ask me, wedding dresses are a waste of money. You're useless things. Being plain like this is just fine. You look like a real homemaker.
You're right. Running a household does require thrift. Margaret, I need to go over the schedule with Ava. Please wait here. Ava, I've already told Liam Lee about your little scheme with this company. If you don't want this to blow up, you'd better confess to everyone yourself.
Young girls these days have no sense of time. Who knows where she's run off to? Good. This will teach her a lesson. This ride is so bumpy. Ava may be good at haggling, but she has terrible taste in picking things. Hey, driver, isn't this the wrong way?
Taking a shortcut. Avoids traffic.
Oh, a shortcut. Okay. This is getting more and more desolate. Driver, are you sure you're not lost? What are you doing? Who are you people?
Stay still and don't move! Hey, something's wrong. Are you sure this is the bride? Why is she so old?
It's gotta be her. Didn't they say the family was so cheap they didn't even rent a wedding dress? The bride was just wearing a red dress?
What? The lead car didn't follow?
Don't worry, Lee. Maybe they just took a wrong turn.
Listen to me carefully. You have 1 hour.
Listen up. We have your wife. Get 5 million ready. Don't call the cops, or you'll be picking up her corpse.
5 million? Buddy, 5 million is way too high. That's not market rate. This bride isn't worth that much. How about 10,000?
Are you kidding me? Are you trying to piss me off? I said 5 million. You got a hearing problem?
Buddy, 5 million is clearly inflated. 50,000, that's our max. We can't pay a penny more.
Crazy bee. Just wait to collect your wife's body.
I'm so sorry, Lee. I didn't know this would happen. I was just trying to save you money by negotiating.
My parents, who had witnessed the whole thing, turned pale and nearly fainted. Liam sighed, comforting Ava in his arms as he spoke helplessly to my parents.
Uncle, Auntie, Ava didn't mean it, but what's done is done. Please accept my condolences.
David's eyes were bloodshot. He was about to lunge at them. Just then, I strode in, smiling, my voice clear. Condolences? What condolences? I was dressed in casual clothes, not like a bride at all. More like someone who came just for the reception. I shock, the scene went dead silent again. My parents were the first to react. Linda gasped and practically threw herself at me. David followed close behind, and the two of them hugged me tightly.
Chloe, thank God you're okay. You scared me to death.
My heart ached. I hugged her back, gently pat her back, and whispered,
I'm so sorry, Linda.
Chloe? What are you doing here? Weren't you kidnapped and killed? I put on just the right amount of confusion and suspicion. Kidnapped? Killed? Ava, what are you talking about? Liam rushed over and grabbed my arm, his tone urgent and accusative.
Where did you go? We all thought you'd been kidnapped. The kidnappers just called. And why weren't you in the wedding car? How did you suddenly show up here?
Right when I was about to get in the car, I suddenly really had to go, so I ran off to use the restroom. I paused, letting a hint of grievance and complaint creep into my voice. Then when I came back, the whole procession had driven off. Not one car left. I called you, but you didn't pick up. Liam remembered how Ava had hung up on a few calls while they were fooling around, and guilt flashed across his face. I continued. I had to quickly call a rideshare to get here. I got stuck in traffic and was so stressed. Then, as if suddenly remembering something, I scanned the crowd and asked casually, "Hey, speaking of which, where's Margaret?"
I asked her to wait for me in the lead car. Didn't she come with the procession?
I wanted to apologize to her for making her wait so long.
What did you say? My mom is in the lead car?
Yes, I was feeling nervous, so I asked Margaret to keep me company. When I left, she was still sitting in the car. I looked around, my eyes blank and innocent.
The lead car? My mom is in the lead car. So the one who got kidnapped is my mom?
What? Margaret was kidnapped? That can't be. He looked like his spine had been ripped out. He went limp and collapsed to the ground with a thud. His eyes unfocused. He kept muttering under his breath.
It's over. It's all over.
I was enjoying Liam's pathetic state. Then Ava's voice rang out. I get it now, Sister Chloe. You knew those guys were kidnappers all along, didn't you? Otherwise, why would you have made Auntie ride in the lead car? Auntie was supposed to ride in the second car with your parents.
Yeah, that's right, Chloe. Did you set this up?
Hearing this, Liam jerked his head up, his bloodshot eyes glaring at me with murderous intensity as if he wanted to tear me apart.
If anything happens to my mom, I'll make you pay!
Looking at his face, I could barely stop myself from tearing those animals apart. But I knew I had to hold back. Only then could I completely clear myself of suspicion. I pinched my palm hard, and the pain made my eyes quickly redden. Lee, how could you think that of me? Yes, you were supposed to ride in the lead car with me. But right before we got in, you told me yourself that Ayla wasn't feeling well and you needed to go comfort her to put her at ease.
She was upset. I just wanted to make sure she was okay.
That's why I begged Margaret to keep me company. How was I supposed to know that car was full of kidnappers? You're lying! I had no idea they were criminals. Besides, Ava was the one who arranged this whole procession.
But these two idiots thought Chloe was the one kidnapped and talked the $5 million ransom down to $50,000. The kidnappers were so furious, they hung up. They've probably already killed her. We tried to say right then that our family would pay the ransom. $5 million, $50 million, nothing matters more than my daughter's life. But they blocked us and refused to hand over the phone.
Linda clutched my hand tightly, as if I would vanish if she let go. Her voice trembled. Chloe, they kept saying you weren't even worth $5 million. I almost thought I would never see my daughter again. Listening to my parents' tearful words, seeing their pale, haggard faces that seemed to have aged in an instant, my heart felt like it was being crushed by an invisible hand so painful and suffocating I could barely breathe. I hadn't told them about this in advance, because I didn't want them caught up in this, worried and scared. But I forgot. I was their only daughter, the treasure they held in the palm of their hands. In those few short moments, the despair of thinking they'd lost me was enough to destroy them. I remembered how, after I died in my past life, my spirit still drifted. I saw how, after missing the last chance to save me, my parents' hair turned white overnight, and they eventually fell ill one after another from despair and grief, bedridden. And Liam, the man I had once deeply loved, he offered no comfort at all. Instead, while they were shattered, he used every excuse to sweep away our family's entire fortune. And my parents, after losing me, died alone, full of regret. Thinking of this, my eyes instantly turned red. If I hadn't been so blind, so deceived by so-called love and insisted on marrying that cold, selfish gold digger, how could my parents have ended up like that? I invited the wolf into our home. I was the one who killed them. Overwhelming guilt and regret crashed over me like a tsunami. I couldn't hold back my tears anymore. They poured out. I whipped my head around and stared at Liam, who was still collapsed on the ground. All my hatred and hurt finally found an outlet in this moment.
Liam, why did you do this to me? Am I really only worth $50,000 in your eyes? Do you listen to Ava so much that you don't even care if I live or die?
Chloe, no, listen. I was just panicked. That's why I didn't stop Ava.
He was incoherent, his eyes darting away, repeating the same few lines without any real explanation. Watching him so flustered and pathetic, a surge of satisfaction rose in my heart, but my face showed only pain. Don't bother explaining. I cut him off, my tone calm. Liam, I've seen your choice very clearly. If I had really been the one kidnapped right now, I'd probably already be dead and gone. The wedding is off. My gaze finally fixed on Liam's ashen face, and I spoke each word firmly and decisively. We are done. The word breakup exploded in Liam's ears like a thunderclap. He jerked his head up, his face a mask of disbelief. He desperately tried to grab my hand, but I recoiled in disgust.
Chloe, what are you saying?
His voice was horsey.
Break up? How could you say that? You love me so much. You gave up the prenup for me. How could you possibly leave me?
Love you? I laughed as if I'd heard the biggest joke in the world. I pointed at Ava standing nearby and tore off the last mask. Love you and your never-ending ambiguous relationship with her? I'm supposed to be your girlfriend, but you spend more time with her than with me. I listed every single thing, all the details I had deliberately ignored in my past life. $1 prenup? Temu wedding dress? That's not running a household, that's pure humiliation. I always thought those two were shady. What kind of childhood friend has no boundaries like that? Haggling at a life or death moment? That woman must have wanted the bride never to come back. Absolutely despicable. The comments pierced Liam and Ava like needles. Liam's face alternated between red and white, while Ava bit his lip and glared at me with venomous eyes.
No, Chloe, let me explain.
Liam panicked completely. He lunged to grab my legs, but David stepped forward and blocked him. He was crying and pleading, looking utterly sincere. If this were my past self, I probably would have softened already. But now I only felt disgust. I suddenly turned around and threw myself into Linda's arms, my shoulders heaving as I let out sobs as if utterly heartbroken.
Linda held me with a pained heart. She instinctively reached up to wipe my tears, but her hand touched my cheek and found nothing. She paused for a moment, then immediately understood my intent.
My poor, unfortunate daughter. How could you be so foolish? Hasn't our family been good enough to the Liz?
His job, his mother's illness? Wasn't our family helping every time? We thought you were marrying down to a man who would cherish you. We never imagined, never pushing you were straight into a fire pit.
Linda's full outburst further cemented Liam's image as an ungrateful scoundrel, drawing even more sighs and disdain from the crowd.
People even began to feel that Margaret's kidnapping and death were what they deserved. Liam was red-faced from all the scolding. Seeing the situation was hopeless, he seemed to make a huge decision.
Chloe, I know I was wrong. I'll change. $1 million for the prenup. No, $2 million. I'll make it up to you. We'll have another wedding at the best hotel. Pick the most expensive wedding dress. Just please forgive me this once.
As soon as he said this, before I could even react, Ava panicked. She rushed over and grabbed Liam's arm.
Are you crazy? She's your wife. $2 million? And wedding venues are so expensive. I worked so hard to negotiate that down.
Get off me!
Liam roughly shoved Ava's away, his voice full of rage, cutting her off, his shifting all the blame onto her.
It's all you, you jinx! All you ever do is haggle, haggle, haggle. If you hadn't insisted on that cheap car service, would my mom be in this mess?
Liam shouted, his eyes red.
And if you hadn't tried to haggle over the ransom, would the kidnappers have hung up? Now you dare to stop me from winning Chloe back? Get lost! Get the hell away from me!
You hit me? Liam, you hit me? For her?
You deserved it!
Liam was desperate to distance himself from her. His face contorted as he pointed at Ava, his tone venomous.
If it weren't for you, he immediately would have to
money. His face changing faster than
to your nonsense. Why wasn't it you who got kidnapped and killed?
His eyes full of pleading.
Honey, please, I'm begging you, don't do this. Chloe, did you hear that? It was all Ava's instigation. I was bewitched before. She had me fooled. I promise I'll never have anything to do with her again. I'm only asking you to forgive me this once.
He played the emotional card, trying to evade our past feelings.
Chloe, my mom, she might be dead or alive. I can't lose you too. I've already lost one family member. Our family can't fall apart.
Linda listened anxiously, afraid I might soften and be fooled by this scumbag again. She was about to warn me.
But I quietly squeezed her hand and gave her a look that said, relax and enjoy the show. Linda paused, confused, but chose to trust her daughter and held back to watch coldly. Sure enough, Ava, having been so ruthlessly thrown under the bus and insulted by Liam, finally exploded. Liam, now you're pretending to be devoted and innocent? Who was it who told me he loved watching me haggle, said I looked so alive and full of energy that it was the real essence of life? Who complained to me every day that Chloe acted like a spoiled rich girl, that being with her meant walking on eggshells, that it was never fun or relaxing?
With every word she said, Liam's face grew paler. He frantically tried to interrupt her.
You're lying, you crazy bee! Stop slandering me!
Slandering you?
Ava laughed as if she'd heard the most absurd joke. Her venomous gaze swept over me, then fixed on Liam.
You said it yourself. If it weren't for her family's fortune, you'd never stoop so low to be with her. You also said once you get your hands on her family's money, you'll make up an excuse to break up with her.
Chloe, don't believe her! She's just trying to destroy me because she can't have me. She's just jealous of you.
Fake? Fine. Let everyone see the proof then. Liam, if you're ruthless, don't blame me for being heartless. Chloe, do you see clearly now? We've been together for a long time. With you, he was just putting on an act, playing around. You've been nothing but an ATM from start to finish.
David was trembling with rage, pointing at Liam.
Beast. An absolute beast!
If Linda hadn't been holding him back, he would have charged at him. Linda was filled with lingering fear. Liam's face was ashen.
My daughter almost got destroyed by you two snakes.
He slumped to the ground. His mouth hung open, but he couldn't utter a single word of explanation. After the extreme panic and despair came a mad, cornered rage.
Ava, I'll kill you! Ava, I'll kill you!
Liam sprang up from the ground and lunged at Ava, who was still holding up her phone with a gleeful expression. Ava screamed as he tackled her to the ground. The two instantly started grappling. Curses, cries, and the sounds of hitting filled the air.
Go to hell!
Just then, the sound of police sirens grew close. Some guests who couldn't stand watching anymore had already quietly called the police. The security staff quickly brought the chaos under control, separating the two who were still clawing at each other like mad people. They were both taken to the police station for questioning. After my parents and I returned home, looking at my exhausted parents, I didn't hesitate. I dropped to my knees in front of them. David, Linda, I'm sorry. I was an unfair daughter. I was blinded, fooled by so-called love. I didn't listen to you, and I even threatened you with my life. I made you sad and disappointed. My parents were startled and hurried to help me up. I shook my head and insisted on staying on my knees. I took a deep breath and poured out the secret buried in my heart, framing it as a dream. I told them that in the dream, I was the one who got kidnapped.
And Ava had haggled over the ransom too, leading to me being sold into the deep mountains, tortured and killed. And that after losing me, they were drained dry by Liam's family and ended up dying alone and miserable. By the time I finished, my parents were already in tears. Linda hugged me tightly, her voice shaking uncontrollably.
My Chloe, my poor daughter. Thank God it was just a dream. Thank God none of it is real.
David's eyes also reddened. This usually strong man's voice cracked with emotion.
Bad was useless. I couldn't protect you.
The three of us held each other and cried.
Because I had memories from my past life, I was able to provide the security staff with many leads. The security staff followed the clues and soon dismantled the kidnapping ring disguised as a wedding car company. They also found Margaret, who had been sold to human traffickers, but when they found her, Margaret had already suffered tremendous shock and inhuman torture. Her mind had completely broken. She had good days and bad days, but she would never fully recover. According to the arrested kidnappers, they were so enraged by Ava's ridiculous haggling. Liam and Margaret grew to hate Ava with a burning passion. They made her their only punching bag, beating and cursing her at every turn. The three of them tormented each other, living in utter misery. Later, Liam came to my door several times, even kneeling for long periods outside my home. He wept and repented, saying he had always loved only me and had been seduced by Ava. But the only response he got was a cold, closed door. Even the thought of seeing him again felt dirty to me. Sunlight streamed through the bright floor-to-ceiling windows, falling on the blooming orchids on the balcony. I curled up on the sofa, watching Linda busy in the kitchen and David leisurely watering the plants on the balcony. A smile crept across my face. Only after experiencing hell do you truly appreciate the warmth in front. At the cost of 2 lifetimes, I had seen people's true hearts and cut off a toxic relationship. From now on, the sky is wide and the sea is vast. My family and I will live very, very well. A full month of such peaceful days passed, and I completely emerged from the shadows of the past. The fears of the deep mountains and the hatred of betrayal became warnings etched in my heart, reminding me that for the rest of my life, I would cherish only those before me and do only what my heart desires. Since I was little, I've loved flowers and plants. I always felt that the moment my finger tuddy frien or petterj, all my restlessness the vanished. With a free time, wagala my parent, I open a light more luxury shop. I see one they may worry that gone through too much, they bawani worker to Mahardy again. But to my surprise, they agreed without hesitation.
Whatever you choose to pursue, your family will always stand firmly behind you.
What style of store decoration do you like? I'll accompany you to pick a location and make plans together. That unconditional support was like a beam of warm sunlight, completely dispelling the last trace of coldness in my heart. In the days that followed, I threw myself into preparing the flower shop, running all over the city to look at storefronts, designing the decor based on the location.
Finding reliable flower suppliers, even hiring staff and setting up service. I did every siege myself. I didn't want a half-hearted compromise. I wanted to create a flower shop with heart,
where everyone who walked in could feel the beauty that bring. Just like me at this moment, finding my own rhythm, the busyness solidly and ablomently. My parents worried I'd exhaust myself, so every day they brought me different nutritious meals. And in the evenings, they helped me tidy up the preparation site. Looking at the gray hairs at their thrallis, my heart was full of guilt. In my past life, I caused them endless worry. In this life, I will stay by their side and let them live out their remaining years. And with opening day just days away, Liam showed up at the entrance of my neighborhood. It was evening. My parents and I were returning from a post-dinner walk when I saw a figure curled up by the flower bed from afar. His hair was a tangled mess like dried grass. His clothes were dirty and wrinkled, his face smeared with unknown stains, his whole body emaciated beyond recognition. When he saw me, his eyes lit up instantly, as if he'd found his last lifeline. He stumbled towards me, trying to grab my hand, babbling.
Chloe, I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. Please give me one more chance, okay?
Instinctively moved behind David. The moment my fingers touched his warm hand, I felt instantly safe. David stepped forward, shielding me behind him.
Stay away. My hand froze in midair. The hope on his face faded bit by bit, replaced by pleading.
After my mother lost her sanity, she wept and wailed non-stop day and night, lucid one moment and delirium the next. When she was clear-headed, she would grab my clothes and hurled insults at me, calling me useless and I couldn't protect her. When she was out of her mind, she would run around aimlessly. I've been holding this family together all by myself, and I'm truly at my wit's end.
I beg you, please be gracious and forgive me. Help me. If you're willing to pardon me, I'll spend my whole life repaying you, willing to toil and slave for you.
In my past life, while I was trafficked to a remote mountain and endured endless torment, he schemed to seize my family's property, leaving my parents destitute in their old age.
I beg you to help me. If you'll forgive me, I'll do anything you ask.
Liam, everything between us ended long ago. Whether you live well or not has nothing to do with me. This is the path you chose, and you'll have to see it through, even if you have to crawl. I figured he would simply throw in the towel.
In the following days, he kept showing up at the flower shop's renovation site, standing far away on the street corner, staring at me with gloomy eyes. He didn't speak, didn't approach. Once my young shop assistant stepped out to buy water. When she came back, she timidly told me that a man had been staring at her the whole time. I knew someone like Liam was capable of anything. I immediately asked the renovation to install full-coverage surveillance cameras both inside and at the entrance of the flower shop ahead of schedule. I would not let the tragedy of my past life repeat itself. In this life, I would protect not only myself but also my family and everything I had worked so hard to build.
Thankfully, everything went smoothly in the end. Shop finally opened successfully and named it Star Harvest, the Starlight. Rewards those who travel by night.
Business was booming on opening day, and both I and the shop assistants were kept extremely busy. Watching the customers come and go, seeing the smiles on their faces as they picked up flowers, I suddenly felt that all the effort had been worth it. I had finally become the person I wanted to be, independent, self-reliant, creating the life I desired with my own two hands. But the peaceful days didn't last long. Trouble came knocking again, and this time it was Margaret, now mentally unstable. That afternoon, I was sitting at the bar counter sorting out orders. Torrently, I heard crying and shouting come from the door. I looked up and saw Liam holding Margaret stand at the entrance of the flower shop. Margaret's hair was messy, her clothes were twisted in a shui, and she was crying and yelling.
Chloe, you wicked woman! You ruined me! Give me back my good day!
The young shop assistant tried to go over and calm her down, but Margaret swung the stick at her, driving her back. The girl was so scared her eyes turned red.
I simply can't control my mother anymore. She keeps muttering your name all day long and insists on coming to you to demand an explanation. I had no choice but to bring her here.
Looking at his pretentious act, I found it laughable. He was clearly doing it on purpose. Knowing I cared about the flower house's reputation, he deliberately brought his mentally unstable mother to cause a scream, trying to embarrass me and force me to help him. I ignored Liam and looked at Margaret instead. Her eyes were cloudy, and she was still cursing under her breath, but I could see a glimmer of fear and helplessness in her eyes. She had ultimately been crushed by everything that happened. She had become a pitiful soul.
I chose not to argue with her. Instead, I asked one of the young shop assistants to head nearby breakfast shop and buy a serving of steaming buns and a cup of soybean milk, then handed them to Margaret. Auntie, have something to eat first. Don't let yourself go hungry.